There was a time when we would always go to midnight mass. But then my parents adopted a little girl from China, and so having a really young child in the family meant that going to midnight mass was no longer the best idea. So we started going to morning mass, much to our disappointment, because we wanted to be able to wake up and open the presents right away. But of course we had to go to mass first before opening the presents. Oh well. But Cardinal Ratzinger, Pope Emeritus, Benedict XVI, notes in The Spirit of the Liturgy, when he's talking about ritual and talking about how it changes and adapts, he makes an important note that this change cannot happen spontaneously, it cannot happen artificially, it has to happen organically. You can't just say, well, let's just do this thing different. It has to be part of an organic adapting to circumstances, part of an organic change. It's not just something that one person can swoop in and say, let's do it this other way. It's something that it's a part of how the church worships. All right, another element of ritual, this is getting kind of deep now, connection with the transcendent. So this is not just found in the Mass, this is found in all of our rituals. First subpoint to this, sacrifice. Ritual always has some sort of sacrificial element to it. Cardinal Ratzinger pointed out in The Spirit of the Liturgy that there was a pagan Roman jurist, Pomponius Festus. He defines the Latin word ritus, rite, as an approved practice in the administration of sacrifice. Every ritual has a sacrificial element to it, not just the Mass, not just, slaughtering lambs and oxen and sacrificing them to a god or gods. Every ritual has a sacrificial element in it because they take us outside of ourselves. All of the rituals that we've discussed, they require that we forget ourselves for the sake of others. Right? Gathering to watch a game, you're showing your support for your favorite team. We give presents to others. We literally give of ourselves to others materially on birthdays, Christmas, etc. On Memorial Day, or on the 4th of July, or on Veterans Day, those are all days for remembering the sacrifice of the members of our armed forces. Right? The Eucharist, meanwhile, makes present again the perfect sacrifice, Christ's death on the cross. And the Eucharist invites us to participate fully in that sacrifice by making an offering of ourselves for the service of God and the service of others. I'm sure when Father Greg gives his talk on the missionary aspect of the Eucharist, you're going to hear a lot about that. Another subpoint about connection with the transcendent, eternity. We are connected with eternity in a way, in ritual, not just the Mass, but all rituals. Think of your personal experience of, for example, Christmas rituals, the Christmas traditions that you participated in growing up, or that you have nowadays with family and friends. Every time you participate in those traditions, in that ritual, doesn't it remind you of all the other times that you've gathered together and celebrated that same occasion? Right? Even now, because there are a lot of Christmas practices that my family still does, that they've done ever since I was a kid. Whenever I'm able to participate in those traditions, it just reminds me of all the other times that we did these things. And it's beautiful, and it's something you can't get anywhere else, because it connects you with something much bigger than yourself. Of course, the ritual may stay the same throughout the years, but the people change, right? Everyone brings something different each time they participate in a ritual. Everyone brings something different to each birthday party, to each Thanksgiving dinner, to each Mass. Right? So participating in a ritual makes something greater than yourself present in the here and now. I mean, this is essentially what eternity is like. It brings something much bigger than ourselves into the here and now. That's a beautiful thing. And it's something that we get to experience in particular way in the Eucharist. And it's one of the reasons why the Eucharist is, in its essence, in its essentials, the same throughout the world and throughout all of history. Because that's one of the ways in which it facilitates this reality, that the Eucharist is a sneak peek of heaven, a foretaste of heaven. Most importantly, in this regard, the Eucharist is a memorial, right? We remember and we are connected to a real historical event, the suffering, death, and resurrection of Christ. And it's made present in our midst in a very real way. We weren't there personally 2,000 years ago, but it's made present to us each and every time